Part 82. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 811. This makes sense. Long Sim Tien was choked by Su Yang's words, but he still smiled and said, "Young Master Su does have this ability. I was the one who was abrupt. Okay, I won't talk nonsense to you anymore." Su Yang said impatiently, "Let me ask you one last time, does my sister Su Jingguo's trip to Yunjiang Mountain have anything to do with you?" "Mr. Su, didn't I explain to you? I did not send the female war god to Yunjiang. She went there on her own and has nothing to do with me," Long Sim Tien said. "Of course you don't dare to give an explicit order, but you can make insinuations. You assigned God of War Tians to go to Yunjiang, and my sister and God of War Tians are in the same military camp. She will definitely know about Yunjiang. My old sister has always been jealous of evil. If she knew about what happened in Yunjiang, how could she stand idly by?" Su Yang stared at Long Sim Tien and said coldly, "Long Sim Tien, I will give you another chance. If your answer dissatisfies me, I will personally search your memory and see for myself what you are thinking. Searching for souls in the cultivation system is not a good method. After searching for souls, you will be useless and will become an idiot. You will lose 3 souls and 7 souls, and you will never recover them in your lifetime. Don't." In the end, Long Sim Tien failed to resist the pressure Su Yang sent to him. He sighed and pleaded helplessly, I did have this thought. Please spare my life, Mr. Su. I was just impulsive." When Su Yang was angry, the dying aura emanating from his body was really terrifying. Even the emperor who has been in a high position for a long time and is above millions of people will inevitably feel fear. After all, this is a crushing battle of strength. Long Xingtian's current strength is far different from Su Yang's, so it is naturally difficult to resist. Snort. Su Yang heard this and snorted coldly, "Long Sim Tien, you are so brave, how dare you take advantage of me? You know, I hate being used most in my life. If I hadn't promised my sister not to kill you today, you would be dead now," Su Yang said sternly. "Thank you, Mr. Su, for sparing your life." When Long Sim Tien heard this, he breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly expressed his gratitude to Su Yang. "Is this the attitude of begging for mercy?" Su Yang stared at Long Sim Tien and said in a deep voice, "Kneel down and let me see your sincerity in begging for mercy." "This." Long Sim Tien suddenly became unhappy, and said with an ugly face, "I am the most respected person in the world, Mr. Su. Is your request too much?" "Then do you kneel or not?" Su Yang said with an unkind expression. Although it was not stated explicitly, the meaning was clear. If Long Sim Tien did not kneel down, today's matter would not be settled. Long Sim Tien naturally understood this meaning, struggled for a long time, and still refused to kneel down. Because as long as he kneels, he will never raise his head in front of Su Yang again in his life. Certainly. The most important thing is that it will have a psychological impact on him and add a black mark in his life that can never be erased. It seems that if you don't want to kneel down, then you can't blame me. Although I promised my sister that I won't kill you, you can't escape the death penalty. I will break your arms as a warning to others." Su Yang said in a cold tone, and then gathered spiritual energy in his palm to take a picture. This time, Long Sim Tien did not choose to surrender. He would rather die than kneel down to Su Yang. Wait. At this moment, an old figure suddenly appeared in the imperial study room. The person who came was an old woman holding a cane and wearing a red robe. She was Long Xingtian's mother-in-law, Emperor Hongfu. "Finally, I'm willing to show up. I've been waiting for you for a long time." A playful smile appeared on Su Yang's lips, his eyes fell on Hongfu, and he said lightly, "You are the Hongfu Martial Emperor of the Jinwu Star Territory, right? You know my name. It seems that old guy Long Pingsheng has told you all my stories." Hongfu looked at Su Yang for a few times, and then said with a serious face, "Young man, you are very good. Judging from your bone age, you are only in your early 20s. You are on Earth, but you can reach the realm of Yuanying at this age. People admire you. If I guess correctly, Mr. Su must have a treasure that can resist the bad luck, right?" Hongfu continued, "I heard that Mr. Su is a descendant of Suwuji, and Suwuji once took care of the Void Tower on behalf of the Xiantian Immortal Emperor. Could it be that the treasure that Mr. Su controls is the Void Tower?" When he talked about the Void Tower, Hongfu's eyes flashed with fire, and he obviously had thoughts about the Void Tower. "Good." Su Yang smiled softly and said, "The Void Tower is indeed with me, but Hongfu Martial Emperor, in your current state, I'm afraid you are not qualified to take anything away from me, right?" "How will you know if you don't try?" Hongfu said with a playful smile. "Oh." Su Yang narrowed his eyes slightly and said, "You know that I am in the nascent soul realm, but you are determined to compete with me. It seems that Emperor Hongfu martial arts has hidden his methods. Haha, my methods are not worth mentioning. After all, what I follow is the cultivation system, not the ancient martial arts system that I am good at." Hongfu met Su Yang's gaze and continued, "However, it should be more than enough to deal with you, Mr. Su." "Is it?" Su Yang's eyes flashed, and he summoned the Void Tower and the key to the East Mansion. In an instant, two terrifying powers came over Hongfu. Hongfu was shocked when he saw this, and said with a horrified face, "I didn't expect you to control the Void Tower to such a situation. Also, in addition to the Void Tower, you actually have a treasure that is not weaker than the Void Tower." Hongfu stared at the key to the East Mansion. The more he looked at it, the more familiar it seemed. He couldn't help but mutter to himself, this can't be the imperial weapon of the first emperor. Yes, it is the imperial artifact of the first emperor, the key to the East Palace. "How come this thing is in your hands?" Hongfu asked Su Yang. He. "Why should I tell you?" Su Yang did not answer, but took a step forward and said coldly, "Hongfu, take another look, am I your opponent now?" Previously. After learning about Emperor Hongfu Wu from Long Ping Shen, Su Yang guessed that Hongfu was probably hiding his strength. However, Hongfu's true strength is not ridiculously strong. Another point is that even if Hongfu is really strong, crossing the tribulation, or becoming a quasi-emperor, Su Yang will not be afraid. Because Su Yang arranged a teleportation array on top of the Void Tower. The teleportation array can be placed on an object and carried with you. The effect after starting is the same as usual. The teleportation array on the Void Tower communicates with the teleportation array on Jufeng Mountain. If Hongfu is very strong and Su Yang senses something is wrong, he can activate the teleportation array and return directly to Jufeng Mountain. It would be great if Hongfu follows up. Jingke, the big terror at the foot of Jufeng Mountain, can easily beat her. That's why Su Yang entered the palace with a high profile and then provoked Emperor Hongfu Wu unscrupulously. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 812. Snort. It's just a little trick. Facing the aggressive Su Yang, Hongfu said disdainfully, "Su Yang, no matter how powerful the treasure is, if you are not strong, it will be useless in the end. Although I came to Earth in the most miserable state, I still have the imperial weapon with me when I became martial emperor. I have risen all the way over the years and practiced hard in the imperial city. I just don't want to use the imperial weapon, so my strength is always stuck at the peak of foundation building." Hongfu was from outside the realm and did not want to mention the fake elixir realm. In her opinion, the 9-turn fake elixir was just another term for the peak of foundation building, so she only said that she was at the peak of foundation building. Later, Hongfu continued, "If I use the imperial weapon now and ignore the ominous situation, I can reach a terrifying state in an instant. I have accumulated quite a lot over the years." Su Yang, Guess what, is it possible for me to step into the realm of transformation into gods, or the realm of transcending tribulations? Hongfu looked at Su Yang playfully. Maybe. Su Yang didn't care about Hongfu's threat at all, and smiled softly, but you have never used the imperial weapon in these years, there must be a reason, right? Let me guess, what are you afraid of? The earth is not as simple as it appears. Emperor Hongfu Wu, are you afraid of the hidden quasi-emperor of the earth? Su Yang said bluntly. Haha, you even know that there are hidden quasi-emperors on earth. It seems that you have some contact with those quasi-emperors. Hongfu stared at Su Yang and said tentatively. That's natural. Su Yang said truthfully, to be honest, Wu and Jun Baiqi and I have met several times. A friend of mine was recently accepted as a disciple by Suanwei Master Gui Guzi, and Shang Yang, who enforces the law and governs the country, is the quasi-emperor of the earth. I really know a lot of them. No wonder. Hongfu looked at Su Yang, thought for a moment and then said, then today, there is no need for you and me to take action. Even if I kill you, it will not be of any benefit to me. Instead, it will expose myself and lead to death disaster. In this case, Su Yang, please leave now. Let's forget about today's matters, Hongfu said magnanimously. Is it? However, Su Yang refused to give up and said with a playful smile, if you say I won't fight, I won't fight. Where will you put my face? Emperor Hongfu Wu, since I am here, I am absolutely sure that I can escape from you. If you don't believe it, you can give it a try. Presumptuous. When Hongfu heard Su Yang's provocation, he was furious. His eyes turned cold for a moment. He immediately wanted to activate the imperial weapon that had not been used for hundreds of years, break the shackles in one fell swoop, and reach a new level. But in the end, reason defeated impulse, and Hongfu gave up the idea of taking action after thinking again and again. Because Su Yang was too calm and calm. Hongfu was originally very confident, but now she was unsure. She found that she couldn't see through the young man in front of her. Another point, and the most critical point, is that as long as he uses the imperial weapon, no matter whether he can kill Su Yang or not, he must leave the earth. Because if she uses the imperial weapon, she will be exposed, and after using the imperial weapon, she will only have the strength to overcome the Calamity Realm. And there are indeed several hidden quasi-emperors in the earth who will pose a danger to her. So after much deliberation, Hongfu decided not to take action. Haha, it seems you don't dare to take action. Su Yang smiled playfully, if you don't take action, then I will. After the words fell, Su Yang raised his hand and waved, and instantly a terrifying power surged out. Boom! The next moment, Long Xingtian's body was blown away and fell heavily to the ground. Puff! Then, Long Xingtian spit out a mouthful of blood, his face became a little pale, and he begged, Mother, help me. Su Yang, I don't want to take action because I don't want to break my skin. Don't go too far. Seeing this, Hongfu said coldly. It doesn't matter if you break your skin, you will only be the unlucky one in the end. Su Yang said coldly, I'm not afraid of you, but you're afraid of me, then don't talk to me in this tone. Su Yang. Hongfu met Su Yang's gaze. After a confrontation between the two, Hongfu finally chose to compromise, Long Xingtian is my descendant. It's better to let go of enemies than to end them. Can you give me some face? Not good. Su Yang decisively refused, and then said, he plotted against my sister and wanted to use me, and almost killed her. If I didn't kill him, it would be the greatest favor to him. I also said, death penalty can be avoided and life penalty cannot be escaped. How on earth will you let him go? Hongfu said calmly, his tone softening a lot. Ask him to kneel down and admit his mistake, Su Yang said in a deep voice. Mother, this is absolutely impossible. Long Xingtian was very repulsive, but Hong Fu said, Xin Tian, do as he said. This. Quick. Yes. Forced by helplessness, Long Xin Tian had no choice but to kneel on the ground and admit his mistake to Su Yang. I'm sorry, I didn't think carefully before. Please forgive me, Mr. Su, for once. That's pretty much it? Seeing this, Su Yang nodded with satisfaction, and then with a wave of his hand, Long Xin Tian fell to the ground. Xin Tian. Hong Fu hurried over to check and found that Long Xin Tian was fine, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Emperor Hongfu Wu, don't be nervous. I have something to talk to you about, and it's not convenient for him to know. Su Yang smiled softly. Hong Fu looked at Su Yang, suppressed his anger, and asked, is there anything else? I want to know, why did you come to Earth? Is it the same purpose as Yanlong Immortal Emperor? Su Yang asked bluntly. Su Yang, you know too much, and you don't look like a person from Earth. Hong Fu looked at Su Yang carefully, then looked at the Void Tower and the key to the East Mansion suspended above Su Yang's head, and asked with confusion on his face, who are you? He. Su Yang smiled and did not hide anything, but said, I come from the Xiantian Immortal Realm, and have once set foot in the realm of the Immortal Emperor, Hongfu Martial Emperor. You should be able to guess this, right? Xiantian Immortal Realm, control of the Void Tower, Immortal Emperor Realm, you are Xiantian Immortal Emperor. After being shocked, Hong Fu suddenly realized, haha, I understand. More than 100 years ago, Immortal Emperor Xiantian appeared on Earth. At that time, I was afraid of being discovered by him, so I hid in the palace and sealed myself, so I never met him. But then I heard a lot of news about him. No wonder Emperor Xiantian handed over the Void Tower to Suwuji for safekeeping. It turned out that he made such a big move. Hong Fu smiled softly and said, reincarnated and reborn on the earth, Immortal Emperor Xiantian is so courageous. Are you really not afraid that something will go wrong in the middle and lead to death? Now that you have recognized me, I have nothing to hide. Su Yang said lightly, yes, I am Immortal Emperor Xiantian. Now you need to answer my question. Tell me, why did you come to Earth, Immortal Emperor Yanlong, and why do you care about Earth? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 813. I don't know why Immortal Emperor Yanlong is targeting the Earth. I only know that I was forced to come to Earth to recuperate. Hong Fu glanced at Su Yang, and then continued, about a few hundred years ago, I had a duel with the Green Phoenix Empress Ding Feng, and was eventually injured by her. Empress Qing Huang hurt me, but did not kill me. She also told me that the Earth has great opportunities. She would go to the Earth to find out what happened. She also contacted me to go and have a look. Hongfu continued, Empress Qing Huang obviously has the ability to kill me, so she will not play tricks on me. In addition, she has offended many people before and her injuries were too serious. She had to find a place to recuperate to avoid being seek revenge by her enemies. In this way, I came to Earth. As for the opportunity, I have never encountered it so far. Not only that, the spiritual energy of this earth has been exhausted, and Gu Wu has also been punished by the Great Road. The road ahead has been cut off. It is simply a dead end. If I were not on Earth, I would have recovered my peak strength long ago. Hong Fu said truthfully, but I have come here, and I haven't found the opportunity. I am not willing to leave, but I really don't know what the opportunity is. Su Yang could see that Emperor Hongfu Wu didn't lie, and there was no need for her to lie to herself about this matter. You mean, Empress Qing Huang asked you to come? At this time, Su Yang caught the key point in Hongfu's words and asked, does that mean that the Qing Huang Empress has also come to Earth? Maybe, she said she would come, but I don't know the details. Hongfu shook his head and said. Empress Jing Huang. Su Yang silently recited the name of Empress Jing Huang and was very impressed by her. After all, he was the Xiantian immortal emperor in his previous life, and his biggest goal in his life was to catch up with the Qing Huang Empress. I only know so much, Su Yang. No, you should be called Immortal Emperor Xiantian. Hongfu looked at Su Yang and continued, both of us have set foot in the imperial realm, and now we are both weak and weak ants. We can be regarded as sharing the same fate. Besides, the two of us had no grudges in the past or recent times. We don't have any big grudges. Hongfu said kindly, you punished Xintian for his poor behavior. Why don't we shake hands and make peace? From now on, we will not offend each other. Can. Su Yang met Hongfu's gaze, and after thinking for a while, he said, but you must remember that you are not allowed to do evil on earth, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. The terror of earth is far beyond your imagination. Also, Long Xintian, tell me what the yin-yang dragon magic is about. At the end, Su Yang's eyes fell on Long Xintian. Long Xintian was a little afraid of Su Yang, and since this was a secret of the Long clan, it was inconvenient for him to answer, so he hid behind Hongfu. Su Yang, there's no need to embarrass him. Hongfu looked at Su Yang, and then said, about the yin-yang dragon magic, this is a secret of the Long clan, and it involves a lot. But since you are the Xiantian Immortal Emperor and you control the key to the East Palace of Zilong, you will definitely be the person who holds up the world in the future, so there is no harm in telling you. Next, Hongfu did not hide anything and told Su Yang everything about the destruction of the era. I see. When Su Yang heard this, he couldn't help but murmur to himself, it seems that there is indeed a big hand controlling everything secretly. This yin-yang dragon divine art is indeed extraordinary. There are actually people who practice it and can compete with the way of heaven. Su Yang stared at Long Xintian and asked, Long Xintian, you have also practiced yin-yang dragon magic, right? Yes. Long Xintian did not hide anything and added, the yin-yang dragon magic is not a magic technique. It does not need to absorb a woman's blood. Taiju went astray. I'm not interested in the matter between you and Long Pingsheng. Well, now that the matter has been clarified and you have been punished as you deserve, let this matter come to an end. Su Yang smiled softly and said, Emperor Hongfu Wu, let's say goodbye. Maybe we will meet again at the top in the future. There must be this opportunity, but I don't know, by then, I will be an enemy or a friend of Mr. Su. Hongfu showed a smile. Do you think I care about this? Su Yang smiled and then left the palace city. Wait a moment. But at this time, Long Xintian asked, Master Su, may I ask if you really killed Long Pingsheng? Yes, can I still lie to you? Then why? Before Long Xintian finished speaking, Su Yang smiled and said, you want to say why the dynasty's energy has not returned to Kyoto, right? How do you know? Long Xintian was shocked, but he didn't expect that Su Yang would see through his thoughts. I have taken advantage of the qi of the dynasty, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. After leaving a few words, Su Yang's figure flickered and he left the palace calmly. Master Su. Long Xintian was unwilling to give in and wanted to continue questioning. Okay, the energy of the dynasty must have been taken away by him using the treasure. Hongfu said, what happened today was indeed our fault, so Huang Qi apologized immediately. Mother, I need the energy of the imperial dynasty to practice the yin-yang dragon divine art, Long Xintian said helplessly. This son Su Yang is very extraordinary. Xiantian immortal emperor, haha, he dares to be reborn on earth, which is really admirable. Hongfu looked at the direction Su Yang left and said with appreciation, I really want to see if he can turn the tide and force out the big hands behind the scenes. As for you, Xintian, please think of another way. With me here, I will definitely let you practice the yin-yang dragon divine art to the peak and help you become the martial emperor. Hongfu said ambitiously, by then, I'm afraid no one in the Jinwu Star region will be your opponent. Thank you, mother, Long Xingtian thanked him excitedly. Hongfu nodded, and after thinking for a while, he made a decision. Nowadays, the earth is turbulent, the recovery of spiritual energy is imminent, and there are many crises. Originally, I planned to wait for the spiritual energy to revive this time, break through the shackles in the chaos, and step into the realm of overcoming the tribulation. Hongfu said warily, but now, my identity has been exposed. If I continue to stay on Earth, I'm afraid it will only increase the crisis. Let's do this, Xingtian, you handle the affairs between the DPRK and China. We will go to Kunlun Mountain tonight and leave the Earth through the ancient Starry Sky Road. Hongfu smiled softly and said, I will take you to the Jinwu Star territory, which is a good place for the ancient martial arts system to prove the Tao and become an emperor. Leave the Earth and go to the outside world. Long Xingtian was a little confused. After a brief moment of surprise, he clasped his fists and said, it's all up to my mother-in-law. Hongfu nodded and said comfortingly, you don't have to take the shame that Su Yang brought to you today to heart. You will meet again in the near future, and by then, he may not be your opponent. As long as you practice well and rely on the power of yin-yang dragon magic, you will definitely make rapid progress, Hongfu encouraged. Junior understands. Long Xingtian nodded in agreement, and at the same time his heart was surging, as if he had already imagined the scene of his incomparable power. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 814. Su Yang left the palace city and returned directly to the place where the helicopter was parked. At this moment, Zhang Hongaiwo, this bad old man, is still hooking up with Lu Hui, the cross-dressing boss. Lu Hui also deliberately teased Zhang Hongaiwo. The two were talking and laughing, and the scene was beautiful. Su Jingguo stood aside, anxiously waiting for Su Yang's return. After seeing Su Yang appear, Su Jingguo hurriedly stepped forward and asked, little brother, you didn't kill Long Xingtian, did you? No. Su Yang shook his head and said, but I admit it. He did use you to lead me to the mountains of Yunjiang, and wanted to use my hand to obliterate Long Pingsheng. I have already punished him a little. Sister, don't be a heroine in the future and don't participate in these fights anymore, Su Yang said. Su Jingguo nodded and said, now the overall situation of the 5 counties and 16 countries has been decided, and there is no war. From now on, I can practice with peace of mind. Good. Su Yang smiled and said, let's do this, sister. I will arrange for someone to take you back to Kunlun Mountain later. Dad and Grandpa are both there. Aren't you going back? Su Jingguo asked. I still have things to deal with, Su Yang said casually. Oh well. Su Jingguo didn't ask further questions. She knew that she couldn't help Su Yang now, and staying by Su Yang's side was just a burden. Subsequently, with a thought in his mind, Su Yang invited Su King Ai out of the Void Tower and ordered Su King Ai to escort his sister back to Kunlun Mountain. He and Zhang Hongaiwo took the helicopter piloted by Lu Hui and returned directly to Jiangbei. The other side. After Su Xing left Yuetan, the ancestral land of the 11 family, he originally planned to go to Yunjiang. After all, he heard that Yunjiang was full of beauties. But what he never expected was that not long after he left the moon pool, he was spotted by an old guy. At first, Su Xing didn't know that someone was following him, wandering around the bustling city, eating and drinking, and even started his old job. The Zhufeng mountain gangster returned to the world. After all, Su Xing was a moral and ruthless gangster. He never robbed ordinary people, but only selected ancient warriors and cultivators to rob, and the targets he chose were those who had done all kinds of evil. No, Today during the day, he met the young sect leader of a small section. He actually broke into the university in broad daylight and dragged a beautiful college student away to take him back to the sect. When Suzing saw the beauty crying, he couldn't help it. He couldn't help it at all, so he decisively struck and beat her up. Nowadays, after the reform of Gyewu, Suzing has made rapid progress. When he was born, he was already in the master realm. Now, although he is not as good as Suyuyu, he has also stepped into the realm of land martial arts. That's right. It is the land warrior god. 5-year-old land warrior. As for Suyuyu, after being taught by Zhao in the ancestral land of the 11 family, she had even stepped into the realm of martial master in the past 6 months. Suzing, who was in the realm of land martial god, was very proud and walked with a smile. After beating the young sect leader, he also snatched his storage ring. The matter was so big that he even reported his own name. I am a descendant of the Su family. If you are not convinced, find someone to fuck me. After saying that, Suzing took his trophies and left the scene. These small sects are all connected with the big sect, and they originally invited the big sect to come forward and capture Suzing. Have no idea. Oh shit. Hee, I didn't expect that Dad's reputation would be so useful. From now on, I'll conquer the world, and I'm afraid no one will dare to touch me. It's great, the dream of a gangster is so close at hand. But after learning about Suzing's identity, all the major sects retreated and advised them not to act rashly, as they should just suffer the consequences of being dumb. Can't afford to offend, can't afford to offend. It turns out that this descendant of the Su family is the son of the leader of the Gyewu alliance. But Suzing was too slippery, and those people couldn't catch up. In the end, Suzing even robbed all the nearby small sects. Fuck. Later, slowly, someone thought of Qianshan Snow in Jufeng Mountain, and naturally thought of Suzing's identity. But their strongest one is just the land warrior god. If they really fight, Suzing may not be his opponent. Isn't that Su Yang, the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance? How could he be a child of about 5 years old? Only then did Suzing realize that he was being targeted, so he mobilized his energy to prepare for resistance. Suzing knew that he was no match for Shang Yang, so he used Su Yang's name and threatened, I'm warning you, my father is Su Yang, the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance. If you dare to mess with me, I will let him destroy you. You old bastard, what does it have to do with you whether I become a great person or not? Let me go quickly, otherwise don't blame me for being rude, Suzing cursed and struggled desperately. You are born with wisdom. I can't bear to see you fall like this. This will only destroy you. But Shang Yang was not angry and said seriously, the reason why I came forward is because I have a love for talents. I plan to keep you by my side, teach you by words and deeds, and influence you with legal constraints. When you act in the future and abide by etiquette, I will let you go. You left. My name is Shang Yang. But who would have thought that in front of this old man, Suzing was powerless to fight back and couldn't even mobilize his true energy. Nowadays, Su Yang is in the limelight, and the battle at Jufeng Mountain is known to the whole world. Who dares to touch Su Yang's bad luck? Unfortunately, his feet were off the ground and he couldn't exert any energy. He could only see his 2 calves kicking back and forth, and his movements were very funny. This angered several nearby small sects, and they all united to deal with Suzing. Descendants of the Su family. Spiritual stones, old medicines, gold and silver treasures, as long as they were valuable, all went into Suzing's storage ring. This tall old man is Shang Yang, who occupies Su Shanju's body. At this time, Suzing panicked and asked in horror, old guy, who are you, and why are you bullying a kid like me? The tall old man stood proudly, holding Suzing's clothes with one hand and stroking his beard with the other. He said in a calm tone, little guy, I've been observing you for a day. You have a good talent, but a naughty nature. After all, it won't become a great thing. It was also because of this incident that there was a huge uproar and everyone was speculating on Suzing's identity. Fuck your uncle's colorful farts. I am a descendant of the Su family and I need your teaching. He just feinted a shot, but actually he didn't go far. Instead, he secretly followed the young sect leader to his sect and looted everything in that sect. Just as Suzing was tapping the trophy triumphantly, a tall old man suddenly appeared, grabbed him by the collar, and lifted him up. Shang Yang. Suzing naturally knew this. He revealed his identity as a descendant of the Su family just to take advantage of his father's prestige. Shang Yang holds the Book of Shangjun, and he is considered a top powerhouse in the quasi-emperor realm. He dominates the world and has few opponents. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 815. Su Yang. Shang Yang frowned slightly and said in a calm tone, I have heard of this name a little bit. He started the revolution in ancient martial arts and killed people outside the territory. I admire him quite a lot. But he is not qualified to be my opponent, and he does not pose any threat to me. What nonsense are you bragging about? My dad can kill even the masters from the sky. You are just a piece of cake and not worthy of being your opponent. Suzing curled his lips in disdain. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. You just need to remember that from now on, I will teach you. Come with me and I will teach you to behave. Shang Yang held Suzing's collar and said seriously, there are laws in the world, and everyone must abide by them. If it is not feasible and no one follows the law, they will live in confusion for the rest of their lives. What a mess. Let me go, old guy, I asked you to let me go, did you hear me? Suzing cursed while struggling. But Shang Yang turned a deaf ear and did not get angry or scold him. He just carried Suzing and left the scene. One old and one young, their figures soon disappeared. Just like that, Suzing's journey as a gangster was ended just as it began. And it was Shang Yang, the representative of legalism, who ended him. This is really a slap in the face. At this moment, as night fell, Zhao didn't stop all the way, and finally rushed from Yunjiang to Kyoto, and met Long Xingtian as promised. Sister Zhao, I haven't seen you for a long time, and your strength has become so terrifying, Long Xingtian said with a flattering smile. In front of Zhao, Long Xingtian always maintained the attitude of his younger brother, and even had a hint of love in his eyes. When the world was in chaos, the old emperor found 11 Louis of the 11 family, donated resources and sought 11 Louis' protection. Later, because Sukinkan was in danger on the battlefield, Su Wuji appeared and suppressed Duan Muo, thus resolving the crisis in the court. 11 Louis got a lot of resources without putting in any effort. Feeling sorry, he agreed to accept a prince as his apprentice. This prince is naturally Long Xingtian. Actually, Long Xingtian grew up in a sect affiliated with the 11 family. At that time, Zhao was in a bottleneck period, sealing his memory and comprehending the world of mortals in this sect. In this way, Zhao and Long Xingtian had an intersection. At that time, Zhao was powerful and unsmiling in the cold world of the sect. When Long Xingtian was bullied by his sect, senior sister Zhao always stood up for him. Over time, Long Xingtian developed an inexplicable affection for senior sister Zhao. But he knew the gap between himself and senior sister Zhao, so he never expressed it and just hid it in his heart. Later, Long Xingtian left the sect and took over the position of emperor, and Zhao also entered the mortal world and followed. Later, Zhao met Su Shenbing and Shi Yuyan. These things have already been introduced. In short, Long Xingtian not only has awe for Zhao, but also has a strong and humble love. He. At this time, Zhao's eyes fell on Long Xingtian and smiled softly, Junior brother, your strength has also improved by leaps and bounds, and you have actually stepped into the realm of martial master. I remember that before, you were just the Tianzong. Half a year after the ancient martial arts revolution, you were already the martial master. Not bad, not bad. Sister Zhao has good eyesight. Long Xingtian was very happy when he received the praise from his senior sister and said with a smile, although I have made some progress, there is still some gap between me and my senior sister. If I'm not mistaken, senior sister is a fake 9-turn elixir. Compared with the ancient martial arts system, it is comparable to the peak of martial arts. I am still not as good as you, senior sister. Long Xingtian. Zhao looked at Long Xingtian with a smile, and then went straight to the point, you and I are in the same school after all, so I won't go around in circles with you. I'm here today because I want to ask you something clearly. I hope you can answer it truthfully, Zhao said seriously. Long Xingtian said politely, sister, please ask, I will tell you everything I know. Good. Zhao stared at Long Xingtian, and then said, you, the Long clan, have a powerful martial arts called Yin-Yang Dragon Magic. I want to know if you have practiced it. What? Long Xingtian's face changed slightly, and he did not answer immediately, but asked slightly vigilantly, senior sister, how do you know the Yin-Yang Dragon magic of the Long clan? There are more ancient and mysterious existences in the world than just the Long family. Zhao did not hide anything and said sternly, as far as I know, your Long clan was invincible in the world 2 years ago. Its clan leader, Long Wuji, shook the sky with his own creation of the Yin and Yang Dragon divine art, which resulted in, the era is coming, right or wrong. You even know this, Long Xingtian was extremely shocked. I know more than that. Zhao continued, I also know that before Long Wuxi died, he preserved the Yin-Yang Dragon divine art. When the next era begins, some members of the Long clan will obtain the Yin-Yang Dragon divine art. But a member of the Long clan has created a supreme dynasty and dominated the world, so he did not dare to practice the Yin-Yang Dragon magic for fear of accelerating the end of the era and destroying the dynasty he had worked hard to establish for many years, so he listed the Yin-Yang Dragon magic as forbidden. This technique prohibits the Long clan from practicing it. Zhao looked at Long Xingtian and said in a calm tone, am I right? Sister Zhao. Long Xingtian took a deep breath, then turned to ask vigilantly, who are you, and how do you know the secrets of my Long clan? You don't have to be so hostile to me. In fact, I'm in the same situation as you. Zhao said lightly, your Long family dominated the world in the last era, and my 11 family had ancestors who ruled the earth 5 or 6 years ago. The final result is the same as yours. One clan is similar, challenging the power of heaven, and the era will be shattered. I see. Long Xingtian was shocked and murmured to himself, Sister Zhao, I didn't expect that the two of us would have the same disease. What a twist of fate. There are differences between you and me. Zhao showed an indifferent smile and asked, have you ever practiced Yin-Yang Dragon magic? Now that the matter has come to this, Long Xingtian did not hide anything. He nodded and said, even if I don't answer, senior sister will definitely try to test me. Yes, I have indeed practiced Yin-Yang Dragon magic. Why, aren't you afraid that the era will be destroyed again? Zhao asked with a smile. Afraid. But I want to compete even more. Long Xingtian narrowed his eyes slightly and said seriously, I believe that I can accomplish what the ancestors of the Long clan could not accomplish. If the ancestors failed, I may not fail. The era is shattered once, twice. Even if I don't practice Yin-Yang Dragon magic, the earth will be reshuffled sooner or later. Long Xingtian said domineeringly, instead of doing this, I might as well fight it once. Use the Yin-Yang Dragon magical power to challenge the power of heaven again and change your fate against the will of heaven. Maybe there is still a glimmer of hope. I know this is very difficult and almost impossible to accomplish, but I still want to give it a try and compete. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 816. Okay, be brave. Zao said with appreciation, Junior brother, I didn't expect you to have such determination, very good. In this case, let's go together in this life. The martial arts of my 11 family will not be inferior to the yin-yang dragon magic. Zao said sternly, not only that, in this life, the ancient martial arts of the earth are undergoing changes, spiritual energy is recovering, and the world is full of great conflicts. Everything is a good opportunity, and the chance of success is very high. Haha, with senior sister's words, I feel relieved. Let us move forward and jointly fight against the mastermind behind the destruction of the era, Long Xingtian said excitedly, as if he had found a close friend and his admiration for senior sister Zao. The love is even stronger. Zao nodded, and then said, I already know the answer, junior brother, no need to disturb me today, we will meet at the top in the future. After leaving a few words, Zao quickly left the palace without stopping at all. Because she vaguely sensed that there was a powerful being in the palace who could pose a threat to her. When Zao said that he had strong martial arts skills, he felt that the other party showed a murderous intention towards him. That's why Zao fled the palace in a hurry, and the other party simply didn't catch up. At this time, Long Xingtian looked at the direction where senior sister Zao left, with a smile on his lips. What this person said is true. She does have the aura of supreme martial arts. Why don't you let me kill her and take away her martial arts? At this moment, Hongfu's figure appeared next to Long Xingtian. Ever since Zao set foot in Kyoto, Hongfu had already discovered it, but had been observing in secret and had no intention of taking action. Because of this, Zao did not notice Hongfu's existence at first. But when Zao said that the 11 family lineage had dominated the world a few epochs ago, and that Zao also mastered a profound martial arts, Hongfu had murderous intentions. She planned to kill Zao and take away Zao's inheritance, but was stopped by Long Xingtian. Mother. Looking at Kung Fu, who was full of doubts, Long Xingtian explained, Senior sister Zao is very good to me. I don't want to see her get hurt. Furthermore, I practice the ancient martial arts system. The Long family uses the yin-yang dragon magic to dominate the world. Senior sister Zao's ancestors also used the ancient martial arts system to crush the world. We all have never practiced top martial arts because we are afraid of the world-destroying master. Long Xingtian looked at Hongfu and smiled softly, Mother, don't you think senior sister Zao and I are very destined? Do you like her? Hongfu asked. Yes. Long Xingtian said without any concealment, I have been in love with senior sister Zao for a long time, but there was a big gap between us before, so I never dared to show it. But it will be different from now on. She and I have the same fate. We will definitely meet in the future. Maybe we will create a story that will last forever. Long Xingtian smiled, as if he had already imagined that scene. Yes, not bad. Hongfu nodded and said, the woman named Zao is indeed qualified to be your woman. Since I am your mother-in-law, I will naturally make her a success for you. However, you have to be more careful. I noticed that she seems to be not simple. There is a vague aura of ancient times in her body. I don't know what it is specifically, Hongfu reminded. Mother, I have a sense of propriety. Long Xingtian smiled and said, I believe that with the help of the yin-yang dragon magic and the help of my mother-in-law, I can reach the top of martial arts in the near future. At that time, no problem will be a problem. I will dominate everything in the world. Yes, Long Xingtian responded with clasped fists respectfully. Hongfu smiled and said, at that time, you can go wherever you want. As long as you appear in front of Zao with an invincible attitude, are you still worried that you can't conquer her? Therefore, some people choose to be deserters and go outside the territory through the ancient starry sky road in search of a chance of survival. Hongfu said seriously, only in this way will she fall in love with you. Women will always admire men who are stronger than her, especially women with outstanding talents. They will love the strong even more. Long Xingtian clasped his fists and bent down, speaking politely. He seemed to have something to say, but didn't know how to say it. If you want to be with her forever and make her heart belong to you, then you have to surpass her and conquer her with absolute strength. The day of spiritual recovery is getting closer, and no one knows what will happen in the future. Late at night. Let's go. The earth is getting more and more dangerous. Leave early and feel at ease, Hongfu urged. Hongfu admired Long Xingtian very much, and then said, the arrangements in the palace are almost done. I understand what my mother-in-law means. Hongfu said earnestly, now I can find her and take her to the Jinwu Star territory with me. Hongfu shook his head and explained, it's impossible to say for sure, everything is full of uncertainty. Hongfu continued, if you go to the Jinwu Star territory together, maybe her cultivation speed will surpass yours. In this case, she will look down on you from the bottom of her heart. It has been arranged that one of my imperial brothers will take over the position of Emperor. Long Xingtian responded. If people who enter the Starry Sky Ancient Road don't understand the Starry Sky Ancient Road, they may be teleported anywhere. In this way, Hongfu took Long Xingtian, and the two of them left the palace city and prepared to embark on the ancient road to the stars. I know what you are worried about. It is just that you are worried that you have gone to the Jinwu Star territory and will not be able to see that Zhao again. Hongfu smiled softly and said, however, I have a lot of research on the ancient roads in the starry sky. I can find out the way to the Jinwu Star territory by myself. Follow me and you can rest assured. Whether it is an opportunity or a disaster, no one knows. Su Yang, Zhang Hongyao, and Lu Hui finally returned to Jiangbei. However, most of the powerful people on Earth still chose to stay. At the same time, well, after you reach the top, you can completely cross the void. Yes. Long Xingtian nodded in agreement, and then asked curiously, Mother, is the end of the ancient road in the starry sky the Jinwu Star territory? That makes sense. Thank you, mother-in-law, for your guidance, Long Xingtian said gratefully. Please leave it to my mother-in-law. Well, then let's go, borrow a road to Kunlun Mountain, and go to the Jinwu Star territory through the starry sky ancient road, Hongfu said. No. Long Xingtian nodded with sudden realization, and then said, as the mother-in-law wishes, I will go to the Jinwu Star region first. They have been waiting for thousands of years, and now they are just about done. They don't want to give up, they want to witness the Earth's golden age and reap the benefits of spiritual energy recovery. Haha, good, you have courage, you are worthy of being a descendant of my Emperor Hongfu Wu. However, for your own consideration, I don't recommend doing this, because that woman is also very talented. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 817. At this moment. Su Family Manor. After the helicopter landed, Su Yang ordered Zhang Hongyao to immediately open the treasure house of the Medicine King Palace and take out all the spiritual stones and old medicines in case of emergency. Although Su Yang has a lot of resources, no one knows what changes will happen when the spiritual energy is revived, and he still needs to arrange the formation. It is better to be prepared than not. As for Lu Hui, he was kept by Su Yang. Su Yang promised Lu Hui that he would help him reach the peak of martial arts, so naturally he would not break his promise. After returning to the Su family manor, Su Yang began to help Lu Hui advance, and after a lot of trouble, Lu Hui finally got what he wanted. Thank you, master. Lu Hui still looked like a big shot in women's clothing. He knelt down on one knee excitedly and thanked Su Yang. You deserve this. After all, you can easily wipe out Long Ping Shen, and you have made a big sacrifice. Su Yang smiled and said, you can go back. The spiritual energy recovery is about to begin. If nothing else, it will be tomorrow night. I have to prepare. Yes. Lu Hui respectfully agreed, then exited the room and headed to the Nine Gates Black Market impatiently. He and Wang Sai are good brothers. They have worked together for so long. Now that he has become an extremely beautiful woman, he must let his good brothers see him no matter what. The master said that he would be back to his original state after tonight. While there is still time, he must go and tease Wang Sai. After Lu Hui left, Su Yang was the only one left in the room. However, there are two women in the Su family manor, Li Feixuan and Zhang Qingshui. It was late at night and they were all concentrating on practicing, so Su Yang did not disturb them. Tomorrow night is destined to be stormy. Su Yang sighed, and then sat cross-legged, running the 9 nether prison suppression technique, hoping to be in peak condition to meet the changes tomorrow night. But at this moment, an uninvited guest broke into the Su family manor. Descendants of the Su family, will you cooperate? The person who suddenly appeared was wearing a black robe, exuding a faint coercion, and the aura in his body was as deep as the sea. Although he took control immediately, Su Yang was still aware of it. This person must be very powerful. Su Yang's expression changed drastically, and he felt as if he was facing a formidable enemy. He stood up in a hurry and stared at the man in black robe in front of him warily. After a pause for a few seconds, Su Yang slowly uttered 2 words, Kui Long. Good. The person in front of him is none other than Kui Long, who was severely injured by Master Fengzi and Scarlet Hongyu not long ago. At that time, Su Yang was hiding in the dark and did not take any action. He just took advantage of the situation and got a big advantage. But he never expected that in just a few days, Kui Long would not only recover from his injuries, but also regenerate his severed limbs. The most terrifying thing is that his strength would rise infinitely, directly surpassing the realm of becoming a god, and reaching the realm of transcending tribulation. Even, it is not an ordinary tribulation, it has vaguely reached the peak of tribulation, and is only one step away from the quasi-emperor realm. In just a few days, this progress is really incredible and shocking. He. Kui Long took off his black bucket hat, showed a smile and said, Yes, I am Kui Long, Mr. Su. It seems that you are deeply impressed by me. Su Yang's face was solemn, and he was lying if he said he wasn't afraid. After all, the other party was at the peak of tribulation. If he makes a move, he will definitely not be able to fight back, and he may not be able to hold on for even 1 round. But Su Yang was not without countermeasures. He secretly communicated with the Void Tower and was ready to activate the teleportation array at any time. Previously, Su Yang arranged a teleportation array on the Void Tower. Once it is opened, it can directly reach Jufeng Mountain. Certainly. Su Yang can go to Jufeng Mountain through the teleportation array. A strong man like Kui Long can also seize the opportunity and follow Su Yang to Jufeng Mountain. If Kui Long really follows, Su Yang is not afraid and can let Jing Kai deal with Kui Long. With Jing Kai's strength, even if he is bound by iron chains, he can easily obliterate the realm of transcending tribulation. Kui Long. After quietly opening the teleportation array, Su Yang breathed a sigh of relief, met Kui Long's gaze, and frowned, Why did you come to me? Master Su, there is no need to be nervous. It is naturally a good thing. Kui Long did not show the slightest hostility towards Su Yang, and smiled softly, I have already heard about what happened at Jufeng Mountain a few days ago. Master Su did a great job. He obliterated the Imperial Seal, seriously injured that bitch Mr. Fengzi, destroyed his purple gold hammer, and even imprisoned Crimson Red Moon. Not bad, not bad. It's really a relief. You can be considered as taking a breath of bad breath for me. Kui Long looked at Su Yang and smiled kindly. When I come here today, the first thing I want to say is thank you to Mr. Su. There's no need to say thank you. Su Yang said in a neither humble nor arrogant tone, you are from outside the territory, and I am from Earth. We are incompatible with each other. Mr. Su, what you said is too absolute. Kui Long smiled and said, that day at Jufeng Mountain, you must have heard what I said. I have no respect for immortal Emperor Yanlong. There is even a deep hatred between me and him. Coupled with the fact that Mr. Fengzi and Qi Hongyu treated me like this and destroyed half of my dragon body, I have already become the opposite of the flame dragon immortal emperor. Kui Long smiled sincerely and said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, Master Su. It's not that we can't be friends. I came to you mainly to discuss cooperation. Cooperate? Su Yang met Kui Long's gaze and asked doubtfully, you came to Earth not to prevent the spiritual energy from reviving, but I want to revive the spiritual energy. Our purposes are different, how can we cooperate? Who said I would prevent the spiritual energy from reviving? Kui Long smiled and said, I have already broken up with immortal Emperor Yanlong. I guess he already knows that I have a rebellious heart. Today's Earth, immortal Emperor Yanlong cannot enter. Even the master servant contract I signed with him has lost its effect after coming to Earth. Only by hiding on Earth can I save my life and grow slowly. Kui Long continued, if I want to become stronger, spiritual energy recovery is indispensable. Only in this way, given time, can I have the strength to compete with the flame dragon immortal emperor. Mr. Su, our purpose is the same. We both want to revive spiritual energy. Why can't we cooperate? What you said makes sense. Su Yang nodded and then said, however, as far as I know, you are wrong about one thing. The spiritual energy recovery will start tomorrow night, and then the flame dragon immortal emperor will come to the earth. I am afraid your wish will come true. You betrayed the flame dragon immortal emperor. When the flame dragon immortal emperor arrives, you will probably die. Su Yang said calmly, I'm afraid you have no chance to grow. This is why I want to cooperate with you, Mr. Su. A playful smile appeared on Kui Long's lips, and he continued, actually, I already know the method of Emperor Yanlong's visit to Earth. As long as it is controlled properly, the flame dragon immortal emperor will not be able to come to the Earth at all. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 818. Kui Long continued, the natural protective formations on the periphery of the Earth are not vegetarian, and they have become stronger and stronger in the past few hundred years. With his own power, the Yanlong immortal emperor is no longer able to come. Even if he suppresses the realm, he can't do it, not even. So, he set up a trap and hid part of his blood essence and soul inside Mr. Fengzi's body. Kui Long said truthfully, as long as we find a suitable opportunity and let people kill Mr. Fengzi, immortal Emperor Yanlong will send down a part of his soul and merge it with Mr. Fengzi's soul. Then he can be reborn with the strength of the Emperor. The essence and blood power hidden in Mr. Fengzi's body can fully support this imperial power, and there will be no explosion and death. In this way, Yanlong immortal emperor can use the strength of the imperial realm to the earth is bent. Kui Long thought that Su Yang didn't know about this, so he continued, of course, it is not easy for the Yanlong immortal emperor to drop a part of his soul out of thin air, and it will be intercepted by the earth's guardian formation. But when the spiritual energy revives, the earth's protective formation will weaken. At that time, he can do this. Kui Long continued, one of the 10 extraterrestrial powerhouses who came to Earth this time is named Qinghai. He has hidden his realm and can still maintain the strength of becoming a god. According to the arrangement of the Yanlong immortal emperor, Qinghai will kill Master Fengzi when the spiritual energy is revived. Then the Yanlong immortal emperor will lower his soul to be reborn and dominate everything. Kui Long smiled and said, as long as we kill Qinghai first and then control Master Fengzi, immortal Emperor Yanlong will have nothing to do. When Su Yang heard these words, he fell into silence, thinking about what Kui Long meant. Certainly. He knew that what Kui Long said was true, but he was just speculating on whether Kui Long really wanted to cooperate. Master Su, you don't believe what I said. Seeing this, Kui Long thought Su Yang was suspicious, so he swore, Kui Long, swear on my soul that everything I say is true. I believe. Su Yang said calmly, Chi Hongyu told me about this before. Ha ha. Kui Long paused and then said, I almost forgot that young Master Su imprisoned Scarlet Hongyu. If I had known this, I wouldn't have wasted my words. Since Mr. Su knows that what I said is true, why don't we make a plan first, how to obliterate Qinghai, Kui Long continued. No need, Qinghai is dead. Su Yang didn't hide anything, just to show that he was inscrutable, he added, I killed him. What? Kui Long was slightly surprised. He looked at Su Yang with interest and smiled softly. Qinghai maintained the strength of the realm of God transformation, but unexpectedly he died in the hands of Mr. Su. Mr. Su was so clever. It's just a matter of convenience. Su Yang said calmly, but why don't you want to kill Master Fengzi, but Qinghai? There is no spiritual energy recovery yet. If Mr. Fengzi dies, immortal Emperor Yanlong cannot merge his soul with Mr. Fengzi's body. Wouldn't it be in vain? No. Kui Long shook his head and said rather fearfully, young Master Fengzi cannot die. The power of blood essence and blood left by immortal Emperor Yanlong in his body is very terrifying. If Mr. Fengzi dies, the remnant soul of the flame dragon immortal emperor controls Mr. Fengzi's physical body. Although it cannot explode into the imperial realm, it should not be underestimated. I am afraid that with our current strength, we will not be able to check and balance him, Kui Long said seriously. I see. Su Yang secretly rejoiced that Mr. Fengzi was not killed that day, otherwise it would have irreparable consequences. Emotion, this young master of Fengzi, is a walking nuclear bomb. To kill him is to detonate the nuclear bomb. Master Su, I have told you everything I know, which is enough to prove my sincerity. Kui Long said with a candid smile, as long as the two of us can cooperate and start the recovery of spiritual energy, in the near future, the earth will be at our mercy. Let me think about it. Su Yang did not agree immediately, but asked curiously, there is one thing I can't figure out. You were obviously seriously injured a few days ago, and even lost half of your dragon body. Why did you not only recover in just a few days, but your realm also increased to the peak of transcending tribulation? He he. Kui Long smiled heartily and said, since we have to cooperate, it doesn't hurt to tell you about this. I am the young leader of the dragon clan, and I have the same origin as the Yanlong Immortal Emperor. However, the Yanlong Immortal Emperor acted arrogantly. Countless years ago, he caused a huge disaster and was expelled from the dragon clan. Kui Long continued, who would have expected that afterwards, Immortal Emperor Yanlong would have many unexpected encounters, and he would actually achieve the Emperor realm. Even within the Emperor realm, he is considered a top powerhouse. There are few opponents under the starry sky. After becoming powerful, the Flame Dragon Immortal Emperor began to take revenge on the Dragon Clan and enslave the Dragon Clan. Kui Long gritted his teeth and said, in order to trample on the dignity of the Dragon Clan, he accepted me as a slave and forced me to sign a soul contract with him, making my life worse than death. And I endured the humiliation and humiliated him to please him. In the end, Immortal Emperor Yanlong took it lightly and allowed me to come to earth. Kui Long gritted his teeth and said, this is the only chance I have to get rid of him. Naturally, I won't miss it. Although the Dragon Clan has declined, countless years ago, the Dragon Clan was once glorious and profound, and I am the young leader of the Dragon Clan, so I naturally have a trump card. Kui Long chuckled softly and said, I have the body of the Dragon Clan's Imperial Realm Senior after he was seated. Even if the body was not cut off at Jukfeng Mountain, I would have cut it off myself and merged with the Imperial Realm Senior's body. It is precisely because of the body of the Senior Emperor that I was able to recover and reach the peak of transcending tribulation. Kui Long continued, it's just that I was in a hurry to get out of seclusion in order to catch up with the spiritual energy recovery. Give me some time, and I can even step into the Quasi-Emperor realm. On Earth today, Mr. Su, you are probably the strongest. As long as I set foot on the Quasi-Emperor, who else will be my opponent? Kui Long smiled confidently, so, if you cooperate with me, Mr. Su, you will not suffer any loss. Quasi-Emperor. Invincible. What are you saying? Su Yang felt contempt in his heart, knowing that Kui Long underestimated the Earth. It seemed that he didn't know the situation of the Earth. Let alone Jing Ke, the suit boss Bai Qi can completely torture him if he takes action. But now that Kui Long has come to visit, although Su Yang has the means to escape, the other party has no ill intentions, so he feels there is no need to turn against him. After all, the spiritual energy recovery is about to begin, so it is better to reduce the disputes and focus on the spiritual energy recovery. Qi Long, since you are so strong, why do you still want to cooperate with me? At this time, Su Yang then asked, as you said, you are already invincible. You can even raise your hand to kill me, but now you are rushing to cooperate with me. I can't figure out why. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 819. The reason is very simple. Kui Long smiled and said, I need help, and you, with good conditions and decent strength in all aspects, are worthy of being my helper. But Mr. Su, don't worry, I won't restrain you with a high profile. Our cooperation is equal. Kui Long said sincerely, my goal is the Yanlong Immortal Emperor. This must be a long-term goal. I have no ability to kill him in a short period of time. You and the Yanlong Immortal Emperor also have an undying hatred. We same goal. I can't reach that high. Su Yang said, you just said that you can even easily enter the Quasi-Emperor realm. How can I be worthy of cooperating with you on an equal footing? He he. Kui Long stared at Su Yang, showed a smile, and then said with a hint of meaning, Mr. Su, you are not sincere enough when you say this. As far as I know, you can control the Void Tower, and the Void Tower is the imperial weapon of the Xiantian Immortal Emperor. Do you still need me to clarify your identity? Huh, Su Yang frowned slightly and said, you know everything. Nature. Kui Long said with a smile, Master Su, the reason why you were imprisoned in the 9 nether hells in your last life was because of the fault of Immortal Emperor Yanlong. Although I don't know what happened later and why you appeared on Earth, in short, Yanlong the Dragon Immortal Emperor once set up a trap to harm you, and you paid the price for it. I believe that you also hate Immortal Emperor Yanlong deeply. In this case, we can completely cooperate. Kui Long said seriously, as long as we join forces and jointly utilize the resources of the Earth, sooner or later, we will definitely be able to obliterate the Yanlong Immortal Emperor. After hearing Kui Long's words, Su Yang fell silent again and did not express his position immediately. But Su Yang had already made a decision in his heart, so he pretended to agree for now. No matter what Kui Long was planning, he had nothing to fear. After all, there is more than one Quasi-Emperor of the Earth who can control Kui Long. However, since it was Kui Long who took the initiative to cooperate, Su Yang naturally couldn't agree so readily and just tried to see if he could get any benefits. Master Su, do you have any concerns? At this time, Kui Long asked. Of course there are concerns. Su Yang said bluntly, you have exposed all my details. Now I am only at the nascent soul realm, and there is a huge gap between my strength and yours. If during the cooperation, you stab me in the back, or if you don't do it at all and just turn your back on me, who am I going to talk to? Haha, Mr. Su is overthinking. I can swear that unless the Flame Dragon Immortal Emperor is eliminated, if I hurt you, I will die badly, Kui Long swore directly. Good. When Su Yang heard this, he nodded with satisfaction. If we cooperate, we will cooperate. Then I will call you Brother Long from now on. The two of us cooperate sincerely and make progress with each other, and Yanlong Immortal Emperor is nothing. Haha, you're right. Kui Long laughed heartily, and then said humbly, however, Mr. Su, Brother Long is so ashamed. You were once the Xiantian Immortal Emperor, and you called me Brother Long. Hey, it used to be difficult to overcome the difficulties. What's the use of being glorious in the past? If you are not a scum in the nascent soul realm now, don't mention the past anymore. Su Yang sighed, then smiled, and said, now that you are stronger than me, I should call you Brother Long. Haha, then I'll be disrespectful, Kui Long agreed happily. That's right. Su Yang smiled and then said, by the way, Brother Long, I am lacking resources for cultivation here. You also know that the Earth's spiritual energy is exhausted and there is nothing good. Can you give me some top quality spiritual stones or something like that? Let me break through the realm. I know it's too abrupt for me to ask for benefits just after we started working together, but I really can't help it. Brother Long, if you have any, please help me. If not, forget it and just pretend I didn't say anything. Su Yang added. Brother Su, what are you talking about? Isn't it just cultivation resources? Why don't I have any? Kui Long was very generous. He took out 5 shining crystals directly from the storage ring and handed them to Su Yang. Is this, dragon crystal? Su Yang took it, looked at it carefully, and suddenly showed an expression of surprise. Good. Kui Long nodded and smiled, this is exactly the dragon crystal of my dragon clan. One dragon crystal is comparable to tens of thousands of top-quality spiritual stones. The spiritual energy contained in these 5 dragon crystals is completely enough to support your breakthrough to the realm of transcending tribulation. This. Su Yang was afraid that Kui Long would regret it, so he hurriedly put away the storage ring, and then said sheepishly, Brother Long, thank you, you are so generous, but it's a pity that I don't have anything good to give you in return. Brother Su, it's time to meet someone else. Isn't our cooperation just about helping each other? Kui Long smiled boldly and said, use it as much as you like, I still have a lot of dragon crystals here. After all, I am the young leader of the dragon clan. When I came to Earth this time, the dragon clan had high hopes for me and gave me a lot of resources. They hope that I can grow up on Earth to the point where I can compete with the Flame Dragon Immortal Emperor. Kui Long said sincerely, I can't use it all myself. It's not a big problem to give you some. The elders of the Dragon Clan won't blame me if they know it, because you were once the Xiantian Immortal Emperor. Kui Long said seriously, when did Immortal Emperor Yanlong pay so much attention to a woman? I guess she is most likely the daughter of Immortal Emperor Yanlong. If I don't let her go, she will forcefully activate the Mother Chi Cauldron of all things, and then I will be finished with her. When Kui Long heard this, he was immediately shocked. I didn't expect Immortal Emperor Yanlong to give this thing to Qi Hongyu. Needless to say, Qi Hongyu must be his daughter. Su Yang spread his hands and said helplessly, that bitch has a very powerful treasure called the Mother Chi Cauldron of all things. Su Yang smiled bitterly and said, I have no choice but to open the Void Tower and let her leave. Brother Su, do you know where Scarlet Hongyu has gone? We can capture Scarlet Hongyu and use her to threaten Emperor Yanlong. Watching Kui Long's figure disappear, Su Yang raised a playful smile. Su Yang did not hide anything and said truthfully, but even so, she still has the ability to die with me. Uncertain. Kui Long continued, before, in Jufeng Mountain, I deliberately treated her lightly, just to force her to see if she had any hidden methods, or to push her to a dead end and let her reveal her identity. If they know that I can make friends with you with a few dragon crystals, they will definitely be happy from ear to ear, Kui Long said. Pity. Isn't she the woman of immortal Emperor Yanlong? Su Yang pretended to be confused, pretending to understand. The daughter of immortal Emperor Yanlong. Su Yang was once famous in the vast universe. After all, he dared to use the name of the Star Territory as his title. How could he do it without strength? Brother Su, the most urgent task now is to activate the spiritual energy recovery. I will help you then. Brother Su, it's inconvenient to ask, is that bitch Chi Hongyu still imprisoned in the Void Tower by you? At this time, Kui Long suddenly asked. Su Yang paused, then said truthfully, Brother Long, she is no longer here, she left. The Mother Chi cauldron of all things. I can't help it either. There is still time now. I will go back to my residence to adjust my condition. Brother Su, please say goodbye first. That thing is too powerful. If she hadn't been too weak to activate it normally, I would have been obliterated by her. But that bitch, Mr. Fengzi, jumped out and used the purple gold hammer to destroy my dragon body, so that I failed to test it successfully. Su Yang and Kui Long exchanged greetings for a long time and staged a scene of deep brotherly love. Kui Long then said, also, I will come to keep an eye on Mr. Fengzi tomorrow night. Don't worry while I'm here. Immortal Emperor Yanlong's plan will definitely not succeed. Next. Right. What a pity. This is true. Kui Long continued, but my guess is correct. She is most likely the daughter of immortal Emperor Yanlong. Brother Su, didn't you imprison her? Why did you let her go? When he said this, Kui Long looked at Su Yang. Kui Long said with regret on his face, Brother Su, you don't know, the identity of this red moon is not simple. I don't know, I didn't dare to chase him. Su Yang shook his head and said. After leaving some words, Kui Long jumped away and left. Kui Long expressed deep regret, then regrouped and said, but it's not a big problem. As long as she is still on Earth, she will encounter her sooner or later. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 820. Today is just the first official meeting between Su Yang and Kui Long. Last time at Jufeng Mountain, he hid in the dark and did not show up. Naturally, Kui Long had never seen Su Yang, and Su Yang didn't understand Kui Long. Today Kui Long suddenly came to ask for cooperation. Su Yang would definitely not really have a heart-to-heart relationship with him, let alone believe that this cooperation was just a false agreement. But the benefits given by Kui Long are real. Dragon crystal is a rare thing. Even in the dragon clan, it is extremely lacking. Only powerful dragon masters can condense their flesh and blood into dragon crystal after countless years of incarnation. Kui Long gave 5 dragon crystals at once, which was definitely a big deal. This Kui Long is quite interesting. Although I don't know what his purpose is, I have remembered the meaning of giving the dragon crystal. After some consideration, Su Yang murmured to himself, if what he does in the future is not too excessive, I might consider making him a friend. Su Yang is not an ungrateful person, not to mention Kui Long's purpose, but the dragon crystal is very useful to Su Yang. Su Yang will naturally remember Kui Long's magnanimity in his heart. If everything he did, as he said, was just to defeat the flame dragon immortal emperor. Or maybe Kui Long won't do anything bad to the earth, and Su Yang will treat him sincerely if he doesn't offend his relatives and friends. To put it simply, although Su Yang's contact with Kui Long this time was mostly related to the Shi committee, it does not prevent him from having a heart-to-heart relationship with Kui Long in the future. As for his attitude towards Kui Long, it depends on Kui Long's future performance. Dragon Crystal is much better than other resources. I estimate that I only need to refine one Dragon Crystal to directly reach the peak of nascent soul. As Su Yang thought, a Dragon Crystal instantly appeared in his palm. Tomorrow night is the critical moment for spiritual energy recovery. I need to seize the time and strive to reach the peak of nascent soul. After making up his mind, Su Yang set up a defensive formation to avoid being disturbed, and then suddenly launched the 9 nether prison suppressing technique. As for Li Feiquan and Zhang Qingshui in the next room, they are still practicing and were not aware of the previous conversation between Su Yang and Kui Long. Because when Kui Long appeared, he sealed the surrounding space with his peak divine power. Li Feiquan and Zhang Qingshui were naturally unable to detect it. In this way, the three of them were practicing in different rooms. At the same time, Su Mo and Wang Fuegui finally arrived in Jiangbei. Originally, Su Mo was quite normal. He was harsh on Wang Fuegui along the way and even asked Wang Fuegui to walk to Jiangbei. But since enjoying the triplets, Su Mo seemed to have suddenly enlightened and completely fell into the temptation of Wang Fuegui's club. In the past 2 days, Su Mo, under the leadership of Wang Fuegui, stopped while walking. Whenever he stopped, he would go to the club and do some hard work, so that Su Mo was a little weak now. He was already very old, but now his eye sockets were sunken, his face was pale, he looked listless, and his body seemed to have been hollowed out. We finally arrived in Jiangbei. Su Mo glanced at the bustling city with bustling lights and entertainment, and said slightly tiredly, "Find a place to rest tonight. Your spiritual energy will be revived tomorrow, so you can't neglect it." "Master, rest on the yarn. I am most familiar with Jiangbei. I know exactly which technicians have high quality, which technicians are good looking, and which technicians have many tricks." Wang Fuegui said excitedly, "I will take you to a good place tonight, I guarantee your satisfaction." "Shut up." When Su Mo heard this, he was very serious. He glared at Wang Fuegui righteously and said in a deep voice, "What are you thinking about all day long? The recovery of spiritual energy is so important. The war is about to happen. How can you be greedy for pleasure? Wang Fuegui, if you say something outrageous again, don't blame me for being unkind and expelling you from the school," Su Mo said sternly. "Don't want." When Wang Fuegui heard this, he immediately became scared and hurriedly said, "Master, I will never mention it again. I will never mention the club in front of you in the future. I swear, if I mention it again, let me cough." When Su Mo heard that Wang Fuegui was about to swear a poisonous oath, his heart tightened and he hurriedly interrupted, "Don't say it so absolutely. In fact, it's okay to mention it sometimes. By the way, you just said that you know all the clubs in Jiangbei. Is that true?" Su Mo pretended not to care and asked casually. "Of course it's true." Wang Fuegui said truthfully, "I grew up in the club, and Jiangbei Club is my second home. When I came to Jiangbei, I originally wanted to take you to the best club in Jiangbei. After listening to your words, I woke up like a dream." Wang Fuegui said seriously, "Master, you are absolutely right. I can no longer remain in such a muddle-headed state. From today on, I will bid farewell to the club and become a striving person." "That's not necessary." Su Mo became interested in the club Wang Fuegui mentioned and asked casually, "Is the club you just mentioned formal?" "Master." Unexpectedly, when Wang Fuegui heard this, he became anxious. "Who do you think I, Wang Fuegui, am, and you actually ask me if I am legitimate? With my temperament, young Master Wang, would I go to a regular club? Shameless." If others heard this, they would definitely scold Wang Fuegui for being shameless. But Su Mo was excited, and his heart felt itchy when he thought of the beautiful technician in the club. "But then I thought about it, I had put in too much energy in the past 2 days, and my body couldn't bear it anymore. I was full of energy but not strong enough. Master, you don't know. The club I'm talking about is called 10 Fingers Like Jade. The technicians there are simply amazing, their service skills are top-notch, and they're all very beautiful. Quick, help me go. Wang Fuegui was talking, but at this moment, Suemo suddenly gritted his teeth and urged Wang Fuegui to lead the way. Well, master, didn't you just say that you wanted to find a place to rest and prepare for the upcoming war? Why now? You can rest in the clubhouse, don't worry about it, take me to 10 Finger Like Jade, Suemo said impatiently. Master, your body. I'm fine. Beautiful women can make me happy. Once a person is happy, can his health still deteriorate? Suemo said seriously. This. Wang Fuegui wanted to say something else, but Suemo couldn't wait any longer and pulled him away. Just like that, the master and apprentice ran to the club again. After arriving at 10 Fingers Like Jade, Suemo was so happy that he directly liberated his nature and transformed into a lustful little old man. He laughed so hard that even the technicians in the club were shocked. If it weren't for the fact that Wang Fuegui was a frequent visitor to 10 Fingers Like Jade Club, the security guards would probably have come out to chase them away.